Good morning. Here's Smudge. She doesn't have that many walks anymore. She tends to potter around the garden, but she seems more than willing to get up and come for one when I'm over visiting. She just goes a little bit slower than the old days. You just need some patience. Once she's up on 4 paws, just want to keep her on the flat and she's happy out. Trouble is when she gets towards steps, she wants to bound up like a galloping horse, and then she might trip up and then you have to lift her up. But if you keep to the straight and narrow, where it's fairly flat, she's perfect. Just a bit wobbly when the ground's uneven, which is every right to be a bit wobbly. She's getting on a bit. Like I say, patience is a virtue when you've got an elderly dog. The crops are ready. Won't be long before the combine harvesters are out. I think today is the 10th of August, so we're getting towards the end of summer now. We've had about 3 weeks of hot weather over here, so hopefully it stays warm while I'm here. It'd be nice to go back home with a little bit of colour, or a bit more colour than I had anyway. I went out with my drone yesterday, but it was very windy up on the top of the hills, and it was actually blowing away, so not made of money, didn't want to lose it, so we didn't stay in the air for long. I'll have to go up again if I get a chance when the wind's died down, and do a bit of flying around the old cuckoo bush. Good girl. I forgot to bring the microphone over for the camera, so if there's any wind, we're just going to have to put up with it. Good girl. Good girl, Smudgy. I've done quite a few short videos with Wally, Shadow and a bit of Carla. I haven't got many of Carla that I can get hold of, but I've put a few together for while I'm away. Obviously I can't take any with Sky, Sandy and Milo because they're not here, which is why you're seeing more of Smudge. Soon be time for the dikes to get cleared out, ready for the winter when the rains start coming again. If you don't keep the dikes clean, you end up with floods when the rain comes and the water levels rise. We had some very high levels of water last year. Well, indeed this year, at the beginning of the year. A lot of this area is completely flooded. Plane coming into land. We're not far from East Midlands Airport. Looks like a Ryanair. could probably bring the drone with Smudge on a walk if she's slow enough for me to not be rushed. I'm very much a novice pilot. Need to get a few flying hours under me belt so that I can be a bit more adventurous. Good girl. Wind's getting up. You're going to hear the leaves rustling. You can actually see the leaves rustling. It's actually quite nice though, because it's very warm and I put a hoodie on. I should have just put a t-shirt on, so I'm sweating. Fairly early. We've already met 3 people walking dogs. When people see Smudge without me dad, they think something's wrong with me dad. I just like to give him a day off, or a couple of days off when I'm here. Another field ripe for the combine harvester. These are public footpaths or bridleways in a lot of areas where you're allowed to walk on the farmer's land, as long as you keep to the actual designated path area. And obviously don't damage the crops, which opens up the countryside to all the people in the village. Well, anybody really. There's a couple of roads that are still classed as private that you're not supposed to walk down, but I do walk down. But that's only because I know the landowner. He's a family friend. I know he's not going to shout at me. I can hear the pump in the background, pumping water out over the potatoes. I imagine it's the potatoes. We'll see when we get closer. Come on, Smudge! She does like a sniff, same as all dogs. Good girl. I think you can probably hear the motor now. We're going to turn right and go down here towards the main lane back home. But I'll just show you the motor. So it takes the water out to the dikes here. Still got quite a lot of water in. so it sucks the water out. And I don't know whether you can see it, but in the distance it's spraying the water over the potatoes. That whole field is full of potatoes. Here comes Smudge. Come on, Smudge. Don't want to walk too far with Smudge. This is private, just for the farmer. You're not allowed to come down this field. But at this time of the morning, it's not going to really bother anybody. And we have another field ready to be combined. I'm surprised they're not done already, to be honest. Don't know what the heads are looking like. They look ready for doing anyway. If anybody watches Clarkson's farm, I bet he's rubbing his hands these last few weeks with some good weather. Can't wait for the next series, see what his profit and loss account looks like. Go on, Smudge. Good girl. She still makes a bit of an effort chasing the ball. When my dad throws the ball to her, she trots after it, picks it up and brings it back. She just can't bounce around and catch it anymore. I'll say she runs after it or trots after it, it's like a quick walk after it. But she still likes doing it. And she can still see the ball, so her eyesight can't be that bad. As long as she knows where her food bowl is and where her water is, everybody's happy. Good girl. This cloud is going to burn away. It's going to be very warm later on this afternoon. Good girl, Smudgy. Good girl. Just keep going. Normally carry on when we get to those bushes and you go straight on up to the next set of bushes and turn right onto the Logan Trail and go right round the far side of the village. But Smudge isn't as mobile as she was, obviously, so we're just going to turn right here. The actual walk normally, if you go all the way down to the moors, which we haven't done, and then along the railway line, and then back down, you come down from the left here and then go straight on and follow the Logan Trail all the way around the far side of the village. It's just under 8 miles. There's a round walk, which is a nice walk. But obviously you've got to consider the dog. And although she's still trucking, we don't want her to collapse into a heap when we get home. Do we, Smudge? Good girl. You'd actually come down from there if you go down the far way to the malls. And then you'd come down and go along that road to the far end and follow it round, but we're going to carry on turning right and go down here and cut about 3 miles off the journey. When Shadow was getting a bit doddery towards the end, he didn't bother crouching at all when he used to go to the loo. He used to just stand there and tiddle. Wally could still cock his leg, and still did cock his leg right up to the last days. But when Smudge crouches down, you wonder if she's going to get up again. And you think, oh, thank God for that, she gets up. But she doesn't like being helped, she's more like to bite your hand off than take a helping hand. Which is why she doesn't get brushed, because she likes to bite your hand off for that as well. If she wants to be cranky, she can be. She's not allergic to putting the collar on her, or sorry, putting the lead onto her collar. She doesn't snap at you then, she just doesn't like being brushed. And if she goes down that bank, she's liable to topple over. No, she stayed up, thank God. I like my fingers on the end of my hands, where they belong. All our politicians think the countryside is racist. There's not enough colour in the place. Well, I can tell you, nobody would bat an eyelid if you came from out of Mongolia and walked down here. Everybody would talk to you, ask you how your day is going. If you wanted any information which paths to take, where to go, they would happily give you any information you wanted to know. The only reason you don't see so many different nationalities in the village is because they just don't come here. They're saying that the paper shop owner is South Asian, I think. Actually, Dr. Hoyt, our doctor from about 50 years ago, I think he was Indian. And the whole village adored him. If you make the effort, we make the effort. That's how I see it. If all you want to do is moan about life, go and moan to somebody else, I say. Come along with a happy smiley face and be part of the community, and you'll fit in very, very well. It's 7:30 in the morning now. We've been out a good old while. shade from these hedgerows. You can see how bright the sunshine is now. Got the horse poo. I'm going to put the camera away now because we're getting towards the pumping station for the sewage plant, and they're doing some building there. I don't know whether they're extending it or what they're doing to it, but they've been here for months and months and months, and they've got some big equipment, so I'm going to put Smudge on the lead so she doesn't wander in front of any of the trucks, and we'll take this on tomorrow. Talk to you then.